Hi, my name's Sue, and this is Maree P. And many of you know that I love baking with spelt flour. And today I wanted to share my top 10 favourite spelt bread recipes. I've got 2 in there that are sweet. So I'm going to start at number 10 and then go right to the number 1. So stick around to the end so you know the top 10. Okay, just to explain, I use 2 different types of spelt flour. Here it's called dinkel, and the one with whole grains called full corn. I'm in Sweden. I'm from Australia originally, but I live in Sweden now. So this is the whole grain full corn, and it just looks like whole grain flour. It does weigh more than the white, so just be careful when you're making your bread recipes, and if you're using cup measurements, I would highly recommend to weigh everything when you're doing bread making. And this one is the white, which is called sitkat. So it just looks like normal white flour. The thing that I love about this brand that I buy here in Sweden, it's got quite a high protein content, which is really important for making bread. The full corn one's 14 grams and the white one is 13 grams. If you find you've got a spelt flour in your supermarket where you live that's got a lower content, like a 9 grams or a 10 grams, it'll be fine. It's just that you won't get the same rise and same kind of structure and strength to your bread. Maybe use it more for like flatbreads and things like that. What else can I tell you? I love baking with spelt flour because it's easier on your digestion. I used to have some tummy problems when I lived in Australia, and I swapped. I don't eat much regular wheat. So back then I couldn't eat any regular wheat. And so I realized that I could eat spelt flour, and then I converted all my baking to spelt flour. Since I've lived abroad, I've started experimenting with bread making with spelt flour and love it. So I'll stop talking about spelt flour, but I'll put a few notes about the nutritional value below. So let's start with number 10. Number 10 is one of my new recipes, but it's proving to be quite popular. It's called, I've just got my notes here on my computer, so if you see me like scrolling, that's why. Number 10 is the Spelt Japanese rolls with oat milk. So traditionally these are made in Japan, so they're soft fluffy milk bread rolls, or they're called milk bread. I swapped out regular milk to use oat milk because that's what I like, and many of my viewers like that. So it's what's called an enriched dough, so you get this really fluffy bun. They're gorgeous. If you haven't tried them yet, give them a go. I haven't tried making them vegan because you actually have to put an egg in it, but if you want to give it a go, let me know. Coming in at number 9, I call it my Magic Spelt Bread. This is one where you just throw everything together. There's no rise, no knead. You just mix everything for 5 minutes and bake it for 60 minutes. I've done this one with whole grain spelt flour, so it's quite nutritious. And it just performs so well. It's a great one if you're in a hurry. Coming in at number 8 is a Swedish recipe. It's one I recently shared, and it's called Kanelbullar. Kanel means cinnamon and bulle means bun. So it's the little Swedish cinnamon buns. I'll pop some photos above, which is scrolled like a knot. I'm still perfecting my technique. It's a bit of an art, but they taste delicious. I've done them both all white. I've done a mixture of whole grain and white, and I've done all whole grain. Here in our house, the major eater is my husband. He prefers white, so they're nice and fluffy. So if I don't make them to suit him, then I have to eat everything. But feel free to experiment with different quantities of flour. Coming in at number 7 is the classic cinnamon scrolls. I've done them with a little drizzle of icing to make them a little bit sweeter. My dough is not too sweet, but they're delicious. I've also done a few other versions with apple. I've done a vegan version. So I'll pop some links below for a few other ideas as well. Coming in at number 6 is my Italian style focaccia. Focaccia is so delicious. It's the one that's got all the little dimples on top, and it's drizzled with olive oil. You can also add olives to it, or tomatoes, or toppings. We love it plain, so then when there's leftovers, we can just pop it in the toaster the next day. But that's delicious. And I've also got recipes using whole grain flour as well, so I'll pop that link below. Coming in at number 5 was a viewer request. It's another Italian recipe called Spelt Ciabatta. Ciabatta means slipper in Italian, and it's the little loaf, you can see from the photo up above, that looks like a slipper. So it's got a crusty edge with a beautiful crumb in the center. We love it dipped in olive oil and balsamic vinegar. So give that one a go if you want a traditional style Italian bread. Number 4 is something that we make almost every week. It's my spelt pizza dough. We love pizza here in this family, and pizza is something that we do most weekends, and I've converted my husband to eating my spelt pizza dough. So that takes about 2 hours to make, and there's only 3 ingredients. It's just flour, water, yeast, and a little bit of salt. That's it. It's so easy and so delicious. Coming in at number 3 is my no yeast, no oven, 3 ingredient flatbread. It uses yogurt, so that's why you don't need the yeast, and they're light and fluffy. You don't need to put them in the oven. You just mix all the dough together, and then you divide your dough and fry them in a fry pan. I've also got a recipe with no dairy for a flatbread as well, so I'll pop the link below. And coming in at number 2 is my very popular how to make spelt buns. These are white, fluffy, like a brioche roll, which we use for burger buns. There's sesame seeds on top. These are gorgeous. It took a while to develop the perfect burger bun recipe. It was a request from my husband that he wanted a nice, soft, fluffy bread roll. And so I think I achieved it. We eat them all the time, and they're quite delicious. Every now and then I add a little bit of whole grain to it, just to keep us a bit healthier. But they're delicious, and give them a go. And coming in at number 1 is my traditional whole grain spelt loaf. It's really popular. It's great sliced and popped in the toaster. If you're into sandwiches, you can make sandwiches out of it. It's such an easy recipe to whip up, and because you don't have to worry about putting it in a basket, it's made with dried yeast, so you just form it into the tin and then it just pop it in the oven and comes out looking great. I hope you've enjoyed my top 10 spelt bread recipes today. I'm always developing new ones. I'm always looking for new ideas, so give me a comment below if you have a request for a new bread recipe. I've got a few that have probably come out that I've released in the last few weeks. I've got a 60-minute sheet pan pizza recipe with spelt flour. I've got a seeded spelt bread roll or bun recipe, and there's always new things that I'm working on. So I hope you've enjoyed this style of video today. Let me know in the comments below, or just say hi. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.